Lion Golf Academy members, welcome back, and thank you for those who voted on this on how to increase your swing speed. It was no shocker. Anytime I put something about distance or swing speed, that usually gets the majority of the votes, and it happened again today. So this is not a promise to help you get swing speed, but to show you what you need to get your swing speed to increase. And it comes down to a few things. It comes down to flexibility, making sure your equipment's good, weight management, and stability. As long as you can get all four of those, you should be able to increase your club head speed. Now let's talk about club head speed versus ball speed. I'm sure you've seen me say this before in one of my previous videos, but it's
not necessarily about club head speed as much as ball speed.
Now there is a minimum. If you want to try and hit it 300 yards, you need 106 mile-an-hour club head speed, and you have to hit it perfectly in that center of your driver to get that ball to go. Now that also includes your launch angle. You could launch it too high. You get the idea. There's too many things at play to make sure you hit it 300. So get that 300 out of your head. All we're trying to do is generate more swing speed. Things that can help you get more flexibility is working out this left side and the right side. So there's some simple flexion drills you can do on the side of a wall. You can grab the edge of the door and pull back one side and pull back the other side. You're trying to flex this out. The reason being is as we take that club back, we want to have a lot of flexion here and here to keep those hands in front of your chest. And I can tell you this right now, that the biggest destroyer of swing speed is the arms trying to take over. And most of us are not flexible enough or just don't turn enough. So if you can increase your turn of your hips to allow you to be flexible back here, that's your goal. But if you don't have enough hip turn, your arms and shoulders try and take over, but the shoulders can only turn so much, so your arms are stuck, and then you're kind of flipping at it. So one way to test this out is your range of motion. So we're going to do a quick little test. Everybody stand up wherever you are. Unless you're in the office and you'll get fired for this, then don't stand up now. Do it later when you get home. But basically, you're going to put a club on your hip. You're going to keep that club against your hip, and you're going to rotate your shoulders around a steady hip. Now, if you see, if I do it from this side, my hips are staying steady. I'm going to rotate my shoulder around the right side and then around the left side. I feel pretty tight on the left side, so I know that I have an issue with my turn. I don't turn as much as I used to. My left side's not as flexible anymore, so I sacrifice and I start getting armsy. So my job right now is to get that left side elongated. Another way is to do it the other way. So we're going to put this on our shoulders and just basically see how much you can turn around. So for me, my left side's okay. My right side's a little tight. So you can see I'm a little bit lopsided. I'm tight here and I'm tight here. That's weird. I should be a left-handed golfer. But if you do that quick test, you can probably see which side is weaker and work with somebody to help you get that range of motion. In terms of where the power is generated from, it's generated from the legs and the stomach. So if you don't have a strong core, lay off the Budweisers and go to some Pilates instead. Next, we're going to talk about the swing speed. So a perfect BPM, beats per minute, is about 100 for the average tour pro. So they're basically 100 beats per minute. Get a metronome app, put 100 beats per minute, and listen to it over and over again. You want to feel that rhythm. Now, obviously, it's really depending on the person. Nick Price is one of the fastest walkers on tour, and if you look at his swing, it's very fast. Ernie Els, if you look at him walking down the fairway, he struts, he just takes his time, and how do you think his swing looks? Pretty smooth. So I do get that we have our own individual swing speed, but typically we go a little faster when we take a golf swing because we have pressure. So if you can take a couple deep breaths before you hit the golf ball and focus on having a wider, longer, slower swing, you will still generate club head speed, probably even more, because things are reactionary from each other. You're not getting very robotic, which now takes us into your sequencing. So sequencing and tempo is two different things. Sequencing is how you are unleashing the power that your body's stored. So as we try and limit the rotation here, we're turning around and we're creating power. Now, how do we unleash that? Sometimes I see a lot of people do it in one motion, and now you're going to fall back. You're going to have issues unwinding correctly. So I want you to think about holding a slinky toy. We always had slinky toys as a kid. Take the bottom of the slinky, hold the top of the slinky, and twist the top around the bottom. Once you let go, which way does that thing uncoil? It's not going to uncoil from the top or the center. It's going to start uncoiling from the bottom and twist its way up. So that's basically how the golf swing should be. You should feel very locked with your feet, slowly twisting around like you're a slinky, So you can feel that torque winding up to your body. Now to unwind it, we don't unwind it from the top, we unwind it from the bottom. So knees, hips, shoulders, torso, and then you deliver that power. But you, along with your range of motion testing, make sure you test, can you even rotate your rotator cuff? Because if you cannot, you are never going to be able to get that thing in the slot, because from here to here, it's a big difference. Here my rotator cuff is pulling back, here it's straight, and if it's straight, I'm always going to come outside it in. So again, it's very individual. You have to go get tested, so be sure to get tested in a range of motion by somebody. So how do we keep things going in a straight line? Well, basically pulling things, you can always keep them in a straight line. Once you start pushing things away from you, that's where things veer off. So in other words, if I pull this club on the ground, I can pull it pretty straight, but the moment I start pushing it, it's very, very hard for me to do so because of my wrists are involved, and that changes the direction. So same with the golf swing. Once you're at the top here, we don't push down to the golf ball, we pull down to the golf ball. Sergio Garcia feels that he is pulling a chain down to the golf ball. All he's doing is reconnecting his hands to his center and then turning with his body. To get a better feeling for this, I want you to pick up a ball and throw it. So we throw it from the right foot to the left foot and we turn and release. You can see my rotator cuff is rolled and then I can pull back and release. But if I do it the other way, if I just throw with my upper body and then turn, it's just not very efficient. Bottom line, to increase your swing speed, you have to involve some athleticism. Now, that's rotation, that's weight distribution, that's being balanced. So if you're off balance, if you take a swing and hold your finish and you struggle to stay on your lead foot and you're always fighting to stay balanced, that center of your balance is like a little energy ball and it has to be used efficiently. And if that energy ball is getting closer to your golf ball, pulling away from your golf ball, going up or down when it shouldn't, they're going to run into some issues. So think about a mystical little ball that's floating in the air, and your job is to stay in that ball and encompass it with your body. So that's the centeredness. So it's very easy, once you're centered, to turn and use that correctly.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far to the video, thank you for being the 1%ers. If you can take anything from this video, is there is not one magic cure, but if you can do a little bit of everything mentioned in this video, you should see better contact and, more importantly, a faster swing speed develop. Just remember, focus on balance, rotation, controlling that ball of energy, your tempo, and sequencing, and you should start to see a difference. Just don't do harm to your body in the process, and make sure you get tested for your range of motion before you do any of this. I don't feel like being involved in some sort of lawsuit. Don't forget the 1,000 sub giveaway. Type Wichita in the comments to be entered for free lessons by myself or a golf pro near you. Thank you and have a great day, everybody. Fairways and greens.